Don't think that you're safe in a small community. Killers can arise everywhere. Hey there, I'm Leah. Welcome to Pen to Paper. Today, I am incredibly excited to share my single book review of The Boatmore Butcher by STEPHENSON. Now, I did read, originally before he put out his full-length book, he had released part 1 and part 2 of the novellas, and then he kind of put that to the side, revamped it as one debut novel. So I read on Kindle form part 1 and part 2, but for the debut novel, I listened to it as an audiobook on Audible. So I'm going to be fleshing out a little bit of what the story is, my thoughts on it, and then I am going to share a word or two on how I felt the audio production went. Now, STEPHENSON is, first of all, I just want to sing his praises, a brilliant author. This book is one of my favorite debut novels of all time, and it doesn't even read like a debut novel. It is exhilarating. It throws its grappling hook into you, sinks into you, and pulls you right in, and you can't help but stay along for the ride. Basically, The Boatmore Butcher centers around the lives of these small town island residents, and the town is a place where no one dies other than natural causes, accidental deaths. But what begins ensuing is this tour de force of this serial killer targeting young men. And so we see the story progress through the eyes of 3 paramedics, Liam, Price, and Martin, and Ben. And so it kind of goes back and forth throughout their points of view, at least part 1 and part 2. And there, if I remember correctly, there might be other parts of view in part 3. And it is a slasher, although it has the perfect amount of thrilling suspense and blood and gore, but not so gory that it's a turnoff. It reads almost a little bit like an Agatha Christie murder mystery style. And the reason why I say that is because what Lewis does so well is he really brings all these characters to life. They all have hopes and dreams and lives, and you want to get to know them. And even though you know no one is safe in this novel, it doesn't stop you from wanting to sympathize with them and become their friends. And he does that brilliantly through his prose and his dialogue and just fleshing out these characters' lives for us. Now, the reason why I said it's like an Agatha Christie murder mystery, if you love Agatha Christie, is because you have this whole host of characters, and there's a lot of them. Enough of them, though, that, not too many that you lose track of them, and they all have their own personalities and styles, and so you can easily keep track of them in your mind. But I say that because you just never know what's going to happen next. There's that suspense, like, is he going to get killed off? Is he going to get killed off? Who is the murderer? So you're kind of always having those kind of notions in the back of your head as you're reading to it or listening to it. So you have the 3 paramedics, and they come across suddenly this killing spree of young men, their bodies being found in different places. However, the Boatmore Butcher doesn't exactly kill them. And that's what blew my mind about this book. He does it in such a way that when the paramedics come on scene, because of the life resuscitating technique they're going to use to help this poor soul, they actually end up killing the body instead. And it's so brilliant in that way. Amazing. And then you really feel like you're dying with these characters because they can't believe that they just killed someone that they are meant to help. And it just makes it even worse. The twists and turns happen all the time, and you never expect them. It's just such an amazing read. So highly, highly, highly recommend this. Hey there, if you like to listen to all sorts of different book reviews, ranging from horror to historical fiction to fantasy to anything in between, traditionally published, indie published, then this is the place for you. Go ahead, click the like button and subscribe for more content like this weekly. Another thing that I wanted to say about this superb novel is the crazy fact that when it's describing how the killer, the Boatmore Butcher, is hunting down his prey and going to take care of them in such a way that they're in the basically needing help, the way that it's described, it's described as if you are running away from the Boatmore Butcher. Like, you can't help the chills just running through your body. You can't help looking over your shoulder, around the corner, in the dark to see, is there someone there? Is there someone coming out to get me? So if you don't do well with scare factor, maybe this isn't the novel for you. But if you kind of like to be scared, you got to read this. This is going to take care of that for you. You will be scared the whole time. I do want to put out a special great job to the narrator, Chase Lang, I believe he is. His voice is really interesting. It's very soothing, and he does a great job of voices and intonation, and yet at the same time, even though his voice is soothing and comfortable, there's almost like a layer underneath it that makes it very uncomfortable, and you just don't know what's going to happen next. And is he as good as he seems to be? And it's perfect for this story because that's what you feel with the Boatmore Butcher, right? You just don't know who's right, who it is and who isn't, and who should you trust. And so the narrator kind of promotes this style of putting you into the zone for this book perfectly with his voice, and sets up that environment for you. So it's fantastic that way. Lewis, you have done an amazing job of putting together a strong debut novel that's scary, full of twists and turns, suspense, and yet there's a lot of heart in it with the characters and how you flesh them out. So for all of you watching, if you like a little bit of scare factor, if you like some mystery, if you like murder, if you like serial killers, this is the book you must read. So check out the links down below. I've got Lewis's information down there. I'm so excited to introduce you to a very strong horror author. Enjoy his work, and I will see you next week.